So, remember when we talked about Wilhelm Wundt? Yeah, the guy who tried to break the mind down into tiny little pieces, thoughts, sensations, emotions. That was structuralism. Then came William James, who basically said, cool, but like, what do those parts actually do? And boom, functionalism. Now it's all about how the mind helps us adapt and survive. But then Gestalt psychology pulled up like, yo, stop breaking things apart. Let's look at the whole experience instead. But what does that even mean? How is Gestalt different from Wundt or James? And like, how does it help us actually understand human behavior? Let's break it down. What is Gestalt psychology? Gestalt psychology kicked off in the early 1900s in Germany, and Gestalt? It means form or shape. But it's really about the bigger picture. The only thing that these psychologists believed is that the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. Translation? Your brain doesn't just collect random bits of info. It connects them. It organizes them. It creates meaning even when stuff is missing. So while structuralism zoomed in on mental atoms and functionalism asked what those atoms do, Gestalt zoomed out and said, how does the brain organize all the stuff we experience? That one question? Yeah, it changed the game. Let's try something. Picture a face, brown eyes, straight nose, thin lips. Got it? Now take those same features, but shuffle them around a bit. Eyes a little closer, nose tilted, lips spaced differently. Suddenly, it doesn't look like the same person anymore. Might not even look human. That's Gestalt in action. The parts didn't change, but the relationship between them did. And that totally flips how we see it. Now flip that same face upside down. You can still recognize the features, but something's just off, right? It's way harder to tell who it is. That's because your brain isn't just checking off features, it's reading spatial patterns. Wild, huh? And this idea? It's not just about faces, it totally helps us understand behavior too. Let me show you what I mean. Think about someone who's quiet and observant. In a meeting, we call them a strategic thinker. At a party, maybe socially anxious, in conflict. Could seem passive-aggressive with close friends. Turns out they're just a deep listener, same exact traits. Different context, completely different interpretation. That's Gestalt again. It's not just the traits. It's how they're configured in the moment. Over time, you don't just see habits, you see the pattern. Even when someone's stressed, hyped, or way out of their comfort zone, your brain is always searching for the whole picture. So how does the brain even build that whole experience? Gestalt psychologists notice the brain follows certain patterns like invisible rules. For example, proximity. If people stand close together, your brain's like, yeah, they're probably a group. Similarity, matching outfits, similar style. Boom brain says, they go together. Closure. Someone stops mid-sentence. Your brain finishes it automatically, even if it's totally wrong. Continuity. If someone starts a sentence calmly, you expect it to end calmly. So when they suddenly shout, your brain's like, whoa, what just happened? And lastly, figure and ground. That's how your brain picks out the main thing in a crowd. Like hearing your name in a noisy room, it pops. These little rules, they shape how we see, how we think, and how we react every single day. But here's the twist. Gestalt doesn't stop at what we see. It messes with how we think and feel too. Let's say someone gives you a weird look. Instant reaction. They're judging me, but what if they were just spacing out? Your brain still fills in the blanks. It makes a guess based on past patterns. Then you react to that guess like it's real. That's the Gestalt effect. Scattered clues greater than full-blown story. That story? It becomes your behavior. That's why we jump to conclusions, misread people, let one tiny moment ruin our whole vibe. It's not about logic. It's about the pattern your brain thinks it sees. Now, let's switch it up. Let's talk humor. Yep, Gestalt shows up there too. Check this out. I told my friend she was drawing her eyebrows too high. She looked surprised. At first, your brain thinks surprised means emotion. But then click, it hits. It's about the eyebrows. That shift in meaning, classic Gestalt moment. Your brain snaps into a new pattern and that click is what makes it funny. But here's the really cool part. Gestalt doesn't just explain why jokes land. It helps us understand when people use them. Some people crack jokes when the room's super tense, like total silence, then boom, one-liner. They're like emotional thermostats lowering the heat. Others, they joke when attention starts to fade. They haven't spoken in a while. Then suddenly they throw in something funny. It's like, hey, I'm still here. They're grabbing the spotlight. Then there are the deep feelers. They joke right before or after opening up. A little sarcasm, a silly jab. Why? Because humor protects them from feeling too exposed. See what I mean? It's not just about the type of humor. It's the timing, the vibe in the room, the emotional beat, the group energy. That's the Gestalt part. The whole situation matters, not just the punchline. Once you see that, you're not just laughing at the joke. You're watching someone navigate connection, tension, and vulnerability. That's next-level pattern recognition. Even though Gestalt is over a century old, it's literally everywhere. Design. Why do some apps and websites feel so right? It's Gestalt. Your brain gets the layout, the flow, it just clicks. Therapy sometimes, it's not about changing your life. It's about seeing your patterns differently. You reorganize how you look at your problems, and suddenly they feel lighter. Social media, those viral memes with aha vibes? That's Gestalt, baby. They flip your perspective and your brain loves that. Dating, you're not into someone because they check every box. You feel a vibe. Confidence, humor, warmth. It's the whole mix that pulls you in. Work, great teams aren't just a group of skilled people. They sync. It's the way they vibe together that creates the magic. Behavior change. Gestalt reminds us, we respond to patterns, not just facts. And once you start noticing those patterns, you can change how you react. So yeah, your brain, it's not just collecting info. It's constantly creating meaning. Even when the pieces don't all fit, and Gestalt psychology, it gives us the cheat code to understand that process. It shows us the shortcuts we take, the patterns we rely on, and how those shape our reality. Once you get that, you might just start seeing people and yourself a little more clearly.